6:15, this is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The president says he hopes to strengthen the relationship with Russia. A ship carrying 30,500 metric tons of petrol has arrived in the port of Colombo. The Presidential Task Force says public views will be obtained to implement the One Law, One Country program covering all cities. It is hoped to add 9,000 megawatts of renewable energy to the national grid. And in news overseas, rebels declare general mobilization as fighting grows. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the local news. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said he hopes to further consolidate and expand the existing solid partnership between Sri Lanka and Russia into new areas of cooperation. The felicitation message addressed to the Russian President Vladimir Putin on the occasion of the 65th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and Russia this year, President Rajapaksa said the abiding friendship and vibrant relations between Sri Lanka and Russia are time-tested and mutually rewarding. He added that underpinned by shared values and mutual respect, relationship between the two countries have continued to flourish over the years, promising further expansion into multiple spheres of shared interests. The President said that as we commemorate this historical milestone in our bilateral ties, he wishes to express his fervent desire to continue to work closely with Russia to further consolidate and expand the existing solid partnership between the two countries into new and more extensive areas of cooperation in the years ahead for betterment of the people. A ship carrying 30,500 metric tons of petrol has arrived in the port of Colombo. Secretary to the Power and Energy Ministry, K.R. Olga, said that the ship has arrived from India carrying the stock of fuel obtained from a supplier in Singapore. She said that the letters of credit have been issued for the stock of petrol needed for 30 days. Meanwhile, a ship carrying 37,500 metric tons of diesel will arrive in the island tomorrow. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force, Venerable Galagoda Attenyanasaratera, said that the One Country, One Law national program to obtain public views will be implemented, covering all the cities in the island in the near future. The Thera said that he believes that all the necessary regulations needed for a strong country could be prepared, where all people can live in unity and in peace. The Thera made these remarks at a seminar held at the BMICH to obtain the views from the university students and lecturers on the program. This program will be implemented on the concept of the President. The public views from the people from the northern and eastern provinces have also been obtained. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Sunitya Power Authority, Ranjit Sepala, said that it is hoped to add 9,000 megawatts of renewable energy to the national grid by the year 2030. He said future activities will be implemented after identifying the issues. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The President says he hopes to strengthen the relationship with Russia. A ship carrying 30,500 metric tons of petrol has arrived in the port of Colombo. The Presidential Task Force says public views will be obtained to implement the One Law, One Country program covering all cities. It is hoped to add 9,000 megawatts of renewable electricity to the national grid. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, the Ministry of Health says that the booster vaccination have been given to 6.7 million individuals. The vaccination program will be conducted continuously. The ministry also notified that more than 37 million doses of vaccines have been provided to the people in the country. The 2 doses of the vaccines have been administered to over 14 million individuals. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
And in Watchlight this evening, the traffic police have planned a special program to minimize the motor accidents in the country. Senior police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohan has said that the program will be implemented in the next few months. A new equipment will be introduced to apprehend the drunken drivers. The daily motor accidents in the country has increased drastically in the recent past. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, world news.
Headlines of the world news. Rebels declare general mobilization as fighting grows. Storm Eunice leaves thousands of homes without power. US President Biden says Russia to invade within days. Those are the headlines, and now we want the details of the world news. Ukraine's Russian-backed breakaway eastern territories have ordered military mobilization amid a deadly escalation in fighting. Men of fighting age in the self-declared People's Republics of Donetsk and Luhansk are being put on standby. Monitors report a dramatic increase in attacks along the line dividing the rebels and the government forces. A Ukrainian soldier was killed by shelling this morning, the first such death reported in weeks. US President Joe Biden says he is convinced that Russia will invade Ukraine, an allegation Moscow denies. His Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Russian forces were beginning to uncoil and move closer to the border with Ukraine. Energy companies are working to restore power to hundreds of thousands of homes after one of the worst storms to hit the UK in decades. 3 people died in the UK in Storm Eunice yesterday as fierce winds toppled trees and sent debris flying. A 122-mile-per-hour gust on the Isle of Wight set a provisional record in England. More than 230,000 homes are still without power, and the Transportation Secretary said he expected travel disruptions for another day or two. Grant Shapps added that trains are in the wrong locations and there is still debris being removed from the roads. Leaders in the UK and the US remain on high alert over the possible Russian invasion of Ukraine. They have been trying to agree on the best way to respond with diplomacy, with sanctions, or with military action of their own. They have been saying for months that they want a peaceful solution. But US President Joe Biden now says that he is convinced that the Russian leader has made his decision. US President said that the US has reasons to believe the Russian forces are planning to and intend an attack in Ukraine in the coming days. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Rebels declare general mobilization as fighting grows. Storm Eunice leaves thousands of homes without power. US President Biden says Russia to invade within days. And that was the world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
And in development news, the government is planning to integrate non-motorized transport with the Sri Lanka transport system to maximize economic and environmental benefits. A statement from the government read that the current number of active vehicles in Sri Lanka is over 5 million, more than 3 times in the year 2000. And this is as a result of increase in the importation of private vehicles such as cars, motorcycles and 3-wheelers. The use of non-motorized transport has a positive effect on reducing air pollution as well as on health, air quality, environment, climate change and personal finances. And that came to you in the segment of Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928. Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Moving on with sports news, the first Central Asian Beach Volleyball Tournament is being held at the Negombo Beach Park, Coastal Belt. Men's and women's volleyball players from Iran, Uzbekistan and the Maldives are participating in the tournament. The tournament will be held under the guidance of the Sri Lanka Volleyball Federation and also under the monitoring of the Asian Volleyball Federation and the Central Asian Volleyball Federation. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, the prawn cultivation in the country will be developed. The Fisheries Ministry has taken measures to develop prawn cultivation ponds. Factory facilities for the exportation of prawn has also been enhanced. The ministry also hopes to earn an income of $550 million from the export of prawn. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And in economic news, a program to provide direct benefits to the small tea holders will be implemented. 40 million rupees will be spent for the program during this year. It is hoped to provide direct benefits to 154,000 tea small holders. That is economic news and the weather report to conclude.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says that showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the northern, north central, eastern and Nuwa provinces and in the Mathale and Nuwara Eliya districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in the Galle, Kandy and Mathura districts during the evening or night. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The president says he hopes to strengthen the relationship with Russia. A ship carrying 30,500 metric tons of petrol has arrived in the port of Colombo. The Presidential Task Force says public views will be obtained to implement the One Law, One Country program covering all cities. It is hoped to add 9,000 megawatts of renewable electricity to the national grid. And in news overseas, rebels declare general mobilization as fighting grows. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.